All right, so welcome to Baking Fun Time with Rixie. Yay! This post or video is sponsored by the Bake It Fun people who sent me this really awesome silicone mat. And this is what the mat looks like. It is nice and bendy and squishy, and it's got little ruler on the top and on the sides. And it has these really convenient circles in the center for you to put your cookie dough so that they bake evenly without touching each other. And I've seen a lot of videos done with this baking mat and they make cookies, but I'm gonna do something different because this mat is freezer friendly, and I am going to make my famous peppermint bark. You guys ready for this? Because I'm ready for this. So unfortunately, this Bake It mat is extremely large and I can't get it to fit into my largest baking pan. You see how it's like overlapping? And I can't get it to lay flat. I'm going to attempt it. Once I have stuff on it, we're going to see how it works out. But I am a little disappointed because that it is so large. I could not find a larger cookie sheet to use this on, and you cannot put this directly on to your oven grate. And as well as it has fibers in it, and you cannot cut this. They do recommend that if you do cut this or scratch it or break the silicone in any way, that you should replace it and throw out the broken cut one. So I'm going to attempt this with chocolate and freeze it and see how well the mat holds up and see how well my peppermint bark comes out, because this is the first time that I'm doing this, and I do peppermint bark yearly. Every Christmas I make my peppermint bark. So what you will need is the Bake It Fun mat. I'm going to press this into the cookie sheet so that it's nice and flat, and because it is silicone, it is slightly sticking to the bottom of the mat, or the bottom of the cookie sheet. So hopefully it'll stay like that and stay flat. You will need, for baking or for melting your chocolate, either a dish and a pan. I'm gonna create a double boiler in this pan with filling it with boiling water. Put this in, pour the chocolate, stir it, and so that's what that is. This is my other pan because I do 2 batches. I don't have another baking fun mat, so I'm gonna try this with parchment paper, which is what I use every year, and I use magnets. Glass magnets or plastic magnets to hold the parchment paper to the cookie sheet, so that way it's not sliding all over. See, look at how awesome that is. And then, of course, when you make peppermint bark, you're going to need pure peppermint extract and a measuring spoon, which I use a 1/4 teaspoon of peppermint extract because I do put crushed peppermints into my peppermint bark, which I put over there. Normally I buy regular size candy canes, but this time I bought the little mini ones because they are super cute and fun, and I'm going to crush these into little powdery bits, so it makes it a little easier when you have the smaller ones. And what I do with these is I take them all out of the packages, I put them into a ziploc baggie about a sandwich size, because you're not going to need a lot. I barely ever use this whole box. I put them into the Ziploc baggie, then I put them into a freezer Ziploc baggie, which is thicker, and then I smash them with a hammer, which you'll see, which is super fun to do, and it's a great stress reliever as well. So that is the part that we do with that. So, and the last thing you're gonna need is, of course, the chocolate. And I do 2 different kinds of peppermint bark. I do the white chocolate peppermint bark. So I have Toll House, Nestle Toll House chocolate, white chocolate chips. I have 2 bags, which will make 2 batches, 1 bag per batch. And of course I am well, not just me, my husband and I are chocoholics. So when we buy chocolate chips, we go Costco sized, and we buy Costco sized chocolate chips. So this bag is conveniently resealable, and I will probably just sit here and eat chocolate chips while I do this video. So, for your enjoyment, you will see that. Alright, so let's get started. Jeffrey, I need a cooking show. Like, seriously, I want a cooking show. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to put some water into this pan. I'm just gonna go ahead and put some water in the pan, and then we're gonna put it on the stove. And I'm gonna put it on medium to start because the thing with chocolate is it's very tricky. I do not use a candy thermometer. I know, shame on me. I hate candy thermometers. I do it by taste and touch, and I can tell with the consistency of it that if it's going to be good, and plus we don't want it to get too hot too fast because I do need to still crush the candy canes. So while that is heating up, I will open this up and start crushing candy canes, and it's so exciting. It really is. It's a stress reliever. Cut and open the candy canes because it's Christmas time and I'm so freaking excited. Yay, lots of candy canes. Be sure to make sure you take them out of the plastic before you start crushing them because you do not want to eat the plastic. Nope. And I also like these little ones because they come into these little packages like this, so you don't have to sit there and try to peel off all the plastic from the candy cane. These just easily, and ta-da, you have a candy cane. So these are more convenient to me than the big ones. It's a personal preference. I bought these at the Dollar Tree. They were $1. I bought the whole box for $1. Hooray! So I'm not going to use all of these. I have about this many in the bag. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure all the air is out of it and seal it. Yay! And then we're going to put it inside the bigger bag. So that way, if the plastic does break when you're smashing these, it doesn't get all over your kitchen or wherever you decide to do this. And then I use either a hammer or a rolling pin, which it's more fun to beat things with a rolling pin. So, rolling pin. And then all you have to do is just beat the crap out of the candy canes. My husband's looking at me like, you are out of your freaking mind, woman. There's a stubborn candy cane in here that won't break, so you know what we're going to do. Alright, so when you're done beating it with a rolling pin, you're going to have this powder at the bottom of your bag. Do you see all the scratches that this makes on the bag? That's why you want to double it, because otherwise you get candy cane sugar everywhere. So now you have the bag full of all the powdery delicious goodness, and that you're going to save for when you actually mix the chocolate. So now our water is starting to boil, so we're going to go ahead and put this in there so that can get a little heated up, and we're going to pour the chocolate. Pouring the chocolate into the double boiler. And I do about half of it at a time because I don't want it to get all, you know, stuff. And it'll pretty much just melt itself. You can do this in the microwave as well. And I suggest if you do it in the microwave, you do it for 10-second intervals, because if you do over bake the chocolate, it goes from solid chocolate chips to complete liquid to solid chocolate again if you overcook it. So you want to be very careful with that, which is why a double boiler is very good, because it doesn't get direct heat. Melting the chocolate, melting the chocolate. There we go. Now we're getting some milk, melted milk, white chocolate. And stir and stir and stir. So microwave usually works better for me. But however you want to do it is totally fine with you. Melting white chocolate is a pain in the butt. So now it's almost completely melted. As you can see, it is a lot more gelatinous or goopy like it should be. It should be more like the consistency of like super softened butter. It shouldn't be chunky. So I'm melting the chunks and breaking the chunks up with my spatula. And I already added the peppermint oil, so I don't have to add that again. Just about ready. So it's like the consistency of frosting. All right, so then you have your baking pan with your Bake It Fun mat, and I'm going to put a little bit of non-stick spray on it, because when this is chocolate and I don't want it to break in pieces that I don't want to break in pieces, so. And then we're gonna just glob this in. Glob it. Globby. And what's also great about this Bake It Fun mat is the fact that it is completely washable, and it's freezer safe as well as oven safe and microwave safe. Alright, so you're going to spread it all over the mat so it's a nice thin layer. It should nicely fit the center of your pan as so. And now what you're going to want to do is take that crushed up candy cane that you had before, and dig around in there and try to get some of the powder too, because that helps. And then you're just gonna sprinkle that right on top. Now, another thing you can do with your peppermint bark is food coloring. You can mix in red or whatever color food coloring you want for any chocolate, doesn't have to be red, into the melted chocolate, and then you stir that up and it will turn your chocolate whatever color you want. And if it's white chocolate, it works better. Dark chocolate, it's harder to get the color to show. Most of the times it just doesn't. And if you want to add a little more flavor to your, a little more peppermint flavor to your actual chocolate, you can mix in crushed candy cane into your chocolate as well. And then you will smear it all on there. So this is what it looks like before we put it in the freezer. So after about 20 to 30 minutes, you want to take your delicious chocolate treat and take it out of the freezer, and at that point I don't need the cookie sheet anymore. I just have the Bake It mat, and as you can see, it literally just peels right off the sheet. So I don't want to peel it in one big piece. I want to break it into little pieces, and you just want to break it into pieces. So you just want to break it with your hands. Ow, and try not to get stabbed by pieces of candy cane, because that hurts. So you break it into pieces. They're not going to be perfect. You can cut them if you want, but they will break and shatter and not normally be square unless you have like molds or something. You can also do these in molds, which are really fun to do. So this is the messy part. You break them into pieces. Here's a square. Yay, square. And then I'm going to wash all that off my hands. And now you're ready to put them in the treat bag. And then you just twist them up and you put a little twisty tie on them, and they are ready to gift. Or if you are serving them or keeping them for yourself, you can put them in a little box, or you can put them in a Tupperware or on a serving tray, and there you have it. And my experience with this Bake It Fun mat is pretty good, even though it didn't fit into the pan quite the way I would have liked, because it was so large. It does work fantastic in the freezer, and my candy came right off. I didn't have to scrape anything. I didn't have to peel anything. It just came right off. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!